Hey world, it's Tobo. It is, what day is it? It's July 29th.
You got it.
2014. And welcome back to the party. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, I totally did mouse over the clock in the bottom corner of my screen. I totally did that.
It's a good. It was a lot better than it used to be. I don't know if you remember earlier versions of Windows, but they didn't have the date all set up there. Mine shows it automatically. I don't know if yours. That would take a few seconds. That would have been a lot more awkward. So thank God for new OSs.
Yeah, indeed. Oh man.
July 29th. We've got it. We figured it out.
That means Crypt of the Necrodancer comes out tomorrow. That game looks awesome.
Yeah, I assume a lot. Actually, probably anyone watching this has probably also seen Jonathan Blow playing it on his stream a lot lately. I guess he has early access. He's been playing it like crazy. If you like rhythm games, you'll like it.
I like rhythm games.
All right. I don't have a lot of rhythm. You know, I'm not really. I can't dance.
I'm a break dancer.
You're a break dancer. You've got at least a little bit of rhythm and probably a little bit of balance for that matter. I have neither of those things. So I'll just watch people like you play it on stream if that's okay.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right.
Today, we've got a game that involving someone who I've been wanting to cast for a little while but haven't had a whole lot of chance to, the Mad King Wodar.
Yes. If you can't get Veery, get Wodar in terms of entertaining castability.
Oh, yes. Wodar does a lot of very entertaining things. He tends to get an insane amount of lowlights on Sniper, though. It's really impressive.
Yeah, and he's just not that bothered if he lowlights the spy sometimes, which he'll do probably 1 game out of 4, 1 game out of 5, which is much higher than most, but it also means that when he guesses correctly, he's got it narrowed down really easily.
Yeah. It's a very interesting... I'd almost call it, like, whereas we have camping snipers and behaviorist snipers, I would almost call Wodar a deductive sniper.
Yeah, although sometimes it feels like gut instinct, too.
Yeah, that's true.
The one thing I really think they have in common, just to be serious about it very briefly, is that I think both Veery and Wodar are just not that interested in necessarily what is the best strategy for winning any one game. I think they both find it a little boring to try to maximize that, so they're more interested in finding new creative ways to win. They'd rather lose a bunch of games if they can find a really interesting win in there, here and there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's more for their own entertainment, which, you know, hey, the game is in beta, so more power to them.
Absolutely. The more kind of people experimenting with these different styles, the more different kind of input we can throw on to Chris Hecker.
Yes.
And the cooler he can make this game.
Their ratios are going down for the benefit of the entire game community. And for that I applaud them. They take a lot of shots on our behalf.
Speaking of Chris Hecker,
ooh.
We haven't scheduled it yet, but I've got a ladder match against him this week.
Yeah, he called you out too. Usually,
I got
so
excited.
I know. Usually, everyone wants to challenge him, you know, get on stream and have fun. And no, he called you out, buddy.
Yeah, it's like I tried challenging him a couple of times, and then I wound up above him, and I couldn't challenge him anymore. And then he immediately just challenged me. Yes, victory. That feels so good.
Yeah. It should be a good match. You guys, I'd say you guys are actually at a pretty similar skill level these days.
I think so.
I think either one could win that, and I think plus both of you guys are. I have to say it. Both of you guys have a very funny tendency to like beat yourself up when something goes wrong, or just be like, "Oh God, no!" when something.
That's true.
So, yeah, I really look forward to the dual stream where I can watch you both reacting to your own missteps in real time and just like, trying to out facepalm each other.
Yeah, like the panic game that I have highlight. That was, oh my God, that was so funny.
I look forward to several games like that where one or both of you is freaking out the entire time, and whoever freaks out slightly less will win.
Oh man, I don't know. I freaked out like the entire second half of that game was just pure freak outage, and I won it. So
yeah, that there's a lesson somewhere there. You know, I said this to him in some of his early games. We'd be in the chat, and he would literally say, you know, he'd say, "All right, screw it, I'm just going to do something," and then it would work. And I even told him, I said, you know, there's a lesson there that those are games that tend to go pretty well. So there is something to be said for it.
Yeah, I'm at the point now where the science factor has been integrated enough where whenever I'm in oh shit mode, it's either like it depends on the oh shit. Like if I think he may have saw me just take that microfilm.
Yeah.
I'm probably just gonna sit there with my drink and sip it once and not gulp.
Right. But if
anything else happens where I'm freaking out, all right, let's do some hard tells.
If it's something like a purloin and gulp or a bug, there's actually a decent chance he didn't see it at all.
Yeah.
So you're like, just keep rolling with it. Just keep
Yeah.
Yep.
Just
I like
keep
it.
the ball
I like
going.
it. Keep doing it until they kill you for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever kills you, that's Spy Party in a nutshell. Whatever kills you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
There it is, right? Yeah?
That's I like that.
Isn't that
awesome.
good? Yeah, all right.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
Whatever kills you makes you stronger.
It's a little
Can
different.
I,
little different
have
than
a
the real
subtitle for my stream?
Yeah. I like that. Go for it. Run with it. I want. Yeah. Let's make it the unofficial motto of the whole damn place.
That's awesome. Whatever kills you makes you stronger. I like it. All right. So this is a ladder match. Kikar versus Wodar the Mad King. We've got a bit of balcony subbed in instead of ballroom.
Oh,
and
that's a
shame. We've got, I think, also balcony subbed in instead of courtyard 1.
Yep, bunch of balcony.
Bunch of balcony. It's gonna happen.
Let's
start it off here with Kikar stepping into the spiral here to start things off. Wodar on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Let's keep an eye out for those crazy lowlights that he likes to do. You might just see them, by the way, with no explanation sometimes.
Yep.
So we're going to have a lot of speculation here.
That's the kind of thing you're used to on balcony, at least, though.
Yep. He highlights for some early talks. First, second, third, and fourth talkers all get highlights. The first and fourth was the same person, though.
Yeah.
Low light for abandoning a briefcase, though.
BB comes off on the green test. Very nice stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No seducing yet, though.
Indeed. Are dropping some frames, but it's not as bad as it could be.
I want to see how he reacts to this briefcase from orange dress. I want to see if any briefcase activity is sufficient.
That was a pretty nice briefcase. Does take the neutral light for it. A low light somewhere else just because.
Just sitting there for a little while. But you know what? With the flirt cooldown timer, that really doesn't make sense. It might have once upon a time. But now, Yellow Danger could easily be doing missions. Very easily.
Picking up a highlight.
Let me put it this way. Blondo's been hanging out even longer in the same spot, so why didn't he get one? Yeah? A little bit of a gut feeling to it. And also, so far, he's not getting marked down for the briefcase, so let's see if he does at the end.
That was a nice briefcase. There's no way any spy would pull that off.
Well, he's marked down someone for every briefcase-related thing so far, I think.
That's true.
Even abandoned briefcases. So hopefully Kikar notices that in future games and takes advantage.
It's 1 of 2 right now, with 20 seconds left to play.
And his assumptions have been correct so far. Blue has been sitting there, I think, the whole time.
Waiting for that. One more flirt. Can he get it?
Waiting for the cooldown, and probably he's going to need based on that distance, I think.
I think so, and it's going to be overtime even if he gets it. There's the cooldown. There's the flirt. There's the green test.
Oh, no, I think it might have been white. I think that was enough. I think he was just close enough.
And the shot does come off.
You know, I feel pretty
just
bad.
Barely.
I feel pretty bad for Kikar. I think Kikar played that really well, and Wodar just happened to go on one of his little sprees, and it happened to work out. If he'd made any effort to go for a low light, it would have gotten him low lit.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And I got to give him credit. I'll check the log. I think that was a white test, and I think that means that he was actually right as far away as I think as he could be. I can't imagine he could have been much farther and still gotten 21%.
I agree.
So really, I don't know if he did it on purpose, but if he did, if he had a general sense of how far he could stand, that's pretty darn good.
Absolutely.
So bad luck. Bad luck.
Kikar loses the first game to the Mad King, but I actually don't mind that. It's like especially on the first balcony set because we're right in the game. You're trying to just settle in and get into your game on balcony. You're just getting used to getting back into the rhythm of the game again to start out the match. And that's not the time when you're going to be going for lowlights.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? This is not as bad as it seems either, because what you really want to do against someone like Wodar is you want to be looking at that log really close in between that first few games, and
Absolutely.
find out what he's low lighting for, force him to mix it up, just do a few of those things now and then, get it so he can't do those moves at all without taking a huge
Indeed.
risk. So we'll see if Kikar makes that effort. A lot of good players do not make that effort to sit down and really look at those logs. So we'll see.
That's very true. But we do have Kikar stepping in the sniper role here. Would really like to keep things tied up for the first balcony set as Wodar steps into the spiral in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Now let's see if Kikar is anywhere near as aggressive. Doesn't look like it, although he's very suspicious of that potential window flirt there.
Wodar with a fairly slow start. Seduction target steps in and he immediately, well, pretty much instantaneously picks up the flirt on it.
Yeah, and very lucky. Seduction target comes up right to him.
Yeah. White test on the banana bread on the interrupt.
Ooh, one person out, and Yellow Danger had just been kind of twitching around before that. But Kikar decides it's actually more suspicious rather than less and gives him a highlight.
Well, he had just started talking when that BB went off, so...
Yeah, it was tricky. Right before that, he kind of left and bumped into the briefcase and then went right back in. And then the BB went off, so it depends on how close he was watching him. In that case, cared more about the talk.
Indeed.
Kikar also low-lighting for briefcases.
But Wodar's only got that one flirt, and there's only 50 seconds left to play.
Yeah, he's not a big suspect at all, but he's also not making a lot of progress. He's banking on the ST coming back to him. And based on the position, actually, there's only a few spots available. That's actually not a bad bet.
I don't know if this is going to come off. I think he's a little bit too slow on it. Seduction target takes a bullet.
Yeah, just didn't end up mattering. Seduction target was moving around a fair bit, talking somewhat near the BB, and he suspected him of the early window flirt with Yellow Danger. It's really hard to get that out of your head, because at that point, Red Tie, quote-unquote, could be done a lot sooner if you don't do a really good job of pairing him with specific people. And so I don't think he did a great job of pairing with him, pairing him with other people, and so thought he could have been done, and that's hard to get away from.
Yeah. Yep. So, stepping in to Courtyard 2 next. Kikar on the spiral, down a set to start things off, but definitely plenty of time to bring it back. Let's see if he can start the comeback here in 3, 2, 1, play it.
You can get out of some of the general insanity that is Balcony now.
Indeed. Balcony is a very swingy map. You're at the mercy of the party even more so than usual, and Kikar picking up a bad fake BB.
Yeah,
I think he was trying to bug on that.
He ended up getting 6 lowlights. 4 of them were hard lowlights. 2 were just deductive lowlights. 2 were, I don't think they would have faked in that position, lowlights. They're both correct, but 4 hard lowlights, that's big.
I'm pretty sure he was trying to do an NCC bug and just messed up the priorities on it. But he did wind up getting the bug off on the tail of it. Still, that's a hard price to pay.
Yeah, keep in mind, Wodar is sniping here. I'm actually really impressed.
Yeah.
Wodar is not, he has his strengths. I wouldn't say getting lowlights off the BBs is one of them. Sometimes he doesn't even really bother with it. That was unusually quick and efficient for him.
Absolutely.
For anyone, really.
Kikar picking up his Inspect and stepping away. Wanted to find a flirt there, but didn't have a chance to slip into that conversation.
Yeah, doesn't want to jam himself in. Wodar, by the way, paying a lot of attention to, and even doing the drawn zoom on the purloin. Really hanging around even after it's clearly not gone.
Well, I think it wasn't so much that he didn't want to jam himself in there as he picks up his first flirt.
He's doing it anyway.
So much as he wanted to line himself up nicely so he had as easy an entry as he could have.
Oh, well, you know what? He goes in and jams himself in there anyway, flirts, leaves quickly afterwards. If Wodar were watching a little closer, this would be pretty suspicious.
Even had a little bit of a catch on orange dress there. Ooh, that was a nice little maneuver. I actually quite like that.
It was, although it is definitely suspicious that he was not gone very long and came back to almost the same spot.
Absolutely, but just the entry, I mean.
Ooh, another white test. He's going to need a green.
Ooh, stepping away right after.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. Whoa,
Gets
Wodar.
caught on it. Gets
Yeah.
caught on the leave.
I'm a little surprised he shot. I don't think that was particularly bad. But this is the kind of thing Wodar will shoot for more often. He will miss certain things, like for example, a bug. Which he did.
Yeah.
He missed the bug, but he caught that, and that's kind of the game
Yeah.
you're playing. You're playing very light. He's not. He'll catch some hardtails, but he won't catch as many. But he will catch on stuff like that.
Yep.
Now,
Yeah.
I gotta say though, Kikar made it easy on him. Some of the leaving and coming back so quickly. If he were being watched, it would be unmistakable.
Yeah. Oh my God, the frames. Yeah, I think I am gonna try moving the show to 8 o'clock instead of 9 and see what that can fix.
I think there'll still plenty of people around. Yeah, it's worth a try.
Yeah, because that's what 5 Pacific.
Yeah,
That's
5
right around when people are getting off work.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So they might not be here for the beginning of the show, but they'll still be able to generally make it fairly shortly after. So that works fairly well. I'm probably going to start shifting the shows back to 8 o'clock then.
Cool.
Which is unfortunate, but that's what you got to do sometimes. So,
Worth a try.
Wodar's on a bit of a streak here.
Yeah, a little bit. Some of these are very solid wins. Some of them, like that, handed to him a little bit. So, but credit to him for jumping on it. He's definitely catching a lot of very subtle things right now. It's really going to be up to Kikar to making him pay for the lowlights. He's getting way too many lowlights. There has to be a cost to that. There has to be a risk.
Indeed.
Which means you got to do the occasional, you got to hang out for a while, you got to try to do some AI pathing, and you got to do the briefcase now and then.
Let's see if Kikar can catch Wodar on some stuff that maybe... I don't know. The segue isn't working. 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
Abandoned segue. Abandoned segue. Metaphor overboard. All right, taking control already. He is determined to get that early flirt.
Not the best of entries there. Got caught up a little bit on his way in.
But he was close enough to get 51, even though he wasn't next to them all the way.
Yeah.
Not bad.
That's definitely a Wodar play. Definitely a Wodar play.
He waits a
Stepping away
decent
now.
interval. Yeah.
I wonder... Oh, he's going for the briefcase.
Yep.
Going for that fingerprint early.
Yeah, by the way, that's the interesting thing, you see it gets him a
Oh, and takes the highlight for it, too.
Yeah, I really like how briefcase can be a highlight or a low light now. It's more likely to be a low light on something like balcony, maybe, which was happening before, because I think a fingerprint wasn't active in any of those. But it's active here, so, it's only going to work on balcony. That lesson we said Kikar needed to learn about briefcase, not now. Not on this map.
So Wodar picks up a nice solid green banana bread coming off there as soon as he steps in. Able to finish up his flirt as well, so he's making good time.
Very few lowlights for that. He's still got to get a fingerprint in there and an inspect, but boy, just way too many suspects. He has gotten very few lowlights.
Indeed.
In fact, I'm looking around now. I don't see. He has 1 lowlight as sniper.
Unless Wodar wants to briefcase again, there's really nothing going for the ambassador right now.
Yeah.
And even then, the briefcase just gets picked up, so...
Yeah, he's going to have to hope for something. Drink, maybe a statue, especially if he can combine it with his inspects. That would really be something, but that's tough to time.
Yeah.
He's got to make a decision.
Left to play.
He's got to make a decision very soon as to whether or not he's actually going to be able to fingerprint or if he's going to have to do a hardtail.
Yeah, I think he stood here way too long. I think he's got to at least step into statues.
Yeah. Uh-oh, it pays off, though, a little bit.
Does take the low light now. It's on to Wodar to finish this up.
Here's the question. Does he realize it? He might.
Steps into statues immediately after the low light, so I think he does, and he even swaps it. He knows he's low lit.
Yeah, but it's still, even if he knows he's low lit, there's no reason. There's just,
I agree. I don't like the decision to pull that swap, but it happened.
It's either a lapse in judgment or just a misclick. It's got to be one of the two.
I don't know. I really do think that that's a play Wodar would make. If he thinks he got low lit, he'd just go.
Well, I mean, I would definitely, I agree with, and I do this myself, if I think I might be low lit, I like to test it sometimes. But in that case, if you're going to finish with an inspect swap, can't think of a whole lot of upside in doing the swap first.
That's true.
So, I don't know, but it works out either way. It would be interesting to know whether or not he is he actually thought he had the low light because that's about the time he was going to have to go anyway, about 50
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe we should ask him at some point. But good solid game. Geez, another win.
Yeah, Kikar is having a very difficult start here. And he's going to need to pick up a couple of games soon, or this is just going to be not only incredibly difficult, but incredibly demotivating. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I got to say, I don't think he's played that badly. There were definitely
I agree.
in there. But that first balcony game, that would be a win against a lot of snipers. A lot.
Indeed. Yep.
So, tough break.
Canadian Bacon says he may have been going for a fake green. I don't remember seeing anyone else there before him, though.
Yeah, I don't think he saw either because I don't think he was keeping an eye on it. As I said in the chat, I think if that's the case, Wodar would be dramatically overthinking things.
Yep.
But if anyone dramatically overthinks things, it's him. He loves to do red flirts and craziness and things like that. He likes to win interesting rather than just...
Yeah. Well, Kikar stepping into the spiral here on Panopticon. This is a very powerful map for lowlights, so Wodar should feel right at home here. Let's see if Kikar can actually manage to slip something under him. In 3, 2, 1, play it.
And now he really needs to make it pay for the lowlights because there's a decent chance you're going to get lowlit on Panop anyway. Wodar, I played Wodar on Panop a handful of times. I'd say he lowlights me more than a third of the games on Panop.
Wow.
It's something like that because, you really have to be pretty aggressive with the lowlights, and if you're someone like Wodar, you're going to be very aggressive with them.
Indeed. So Kikar able to pick up some inspects early on. No highlight for it, so...
Now, Wodar, interestingly, marking books, correct me if I'm wrong, I just don't think that's something he does a lot on this map. I know he likes to fake it sometimes, but he seems
to actually... No, I haven't... Uh-oh, that was right in front of the laser. Oh, no, Kikar.
That was over before it started. That's a shame.
Kikar.
Yeah.
That's 5-0.
It's getting pretty brutal in here.
Yeah. Yep. And
nothing to say about that one. Just picked the wrong time. Probably a laser latency issue. Probably thought, either he doesn't think he's there, or he's been hanging out there for a while, so he's betting that he's about to pull away.
Yeah. I think probably the latter is what I would say, but...
Yeah, assuming that he can't possibly hang out there that long. But, he can, and he's one of the few snipers who would just hang out there for a while.
Yeah. Wodar stepping into the spiral, Kikar on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, this should be a little fun.
And this is around the time where a lot of people... Yeah, that's very true. Picks up a timeout on that. This is the kind of time where a lot of people would just kind of want the match over.
Yeah, so you got to watch out for that. You got to be patient. It's a sign of a good player certainly that they can keep calm and try to maximize the chances of coming back.
Yeah, and I'm worried that that bug attempt was the beginnings of
sort of YOLO style crash into the wall. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I agree.
He does seem to be really paying a lot of attention, marking books. Even one that he saw going all the way across the map from the blue bookcase, he got marked.
Yeah, that was very impressive. It was very impressive. He didn't see it, so now that he sees the book going into yellow, he's not taking a shot, I think, because he's not sure that it was from there. He had to deduce that it was from blue, but he did deduce correctly. There were some pathing errors after the time ad, too, and he kind of went in on the corner of the bookshelf thing there. By the way, same character that just got shot from on the other side. So the question is, did he realize how confident...
Red BB! Red BB!
Uh-oh.
There it is!
All right. Nice. I have to root for the underdog. Nice win. Good job with that book marking it. Deducing where it was from, taking a bit of a guess, but a smart guess, an aggressive mark there. Didn't shoot when he put it in yellow, so I'm really curious as to how suspicious he was. He didn't mark him with a highlight either.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it was just he saw it coming over and didn't know where it came from, but thought it was blue.
Right.
Or maybe didn't notice it going back, or...
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, to explain why he doesn't shoot, he might, when he sees him put it back in yellow, he might convince himself, well, maybe I was wrong. I didn't actually see it. That certainly happens to me sometimes. But his initial instinct was right, and, it's no small thing to catch that red BB. That's not necessarily handing you a game on Panop. It can be really easy to miss that. And when you do miss it, you get really paranoid and often take the wrong shot.
Yeah. And if it was the suspicion on Blue Dress that we think it was, he knew she was over there.
Right.
So as soon as he hears that cough, he swings around to look at her, and there's the arms up.
Yeah, he was already drifting to the right, and when it went off, he kind of jerked further to the right to see the whole conversation. So, good win.
Well, Kikar has finally got his foot in the doors. He steps into the gallery on the spy roll in 3, 2, 1, playing.
He could really use a win, a good solid mission win or something.
Absolutely. Because as nice as it is to pick up that that catch on the red BB, it doesn't feel very good as a win. It just kind of feels like he just kind of handed it to you.
Plus at 5-0, you're really just stopping the bleeding anyway. Yeah. But you're right, it doesn't feel like a victory. It doesn't feel like good play. Now, that's fine because he had a game he could have won earlier that he didn't, so it works both ways. But psychologically, it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Wodar, again, being aggressive with these lowlights and sometimes even with the highlights.
Oh! Ow! That path.
Yeah, he didn't see it. Didn't see it. Has done nothing, though, in the first 45 seconds.
Stepping into statues here to pick up his inspects. He was really chasing down a seduction target early on to try to get a flirt in, but it just was not happening for him.
Now, this is some bum luck. Wodar very often will not highlight for statues, but this game, where he goes to statues early, he is highlighting for it.
Yeah.
Well, I still think he's really... I don't know if he's been looking at the logs, but he's just not giving Wodar any good reason to lowlight him yet. I think you have to do that.
Ooh, banana split into flirt at the window. I think this is going to come off. The lowlight happens! That's a sweet play coming out of Kikar.
Yeah, it is, and that makes... Actually, I hate to say it, if you're not up for a briefcase, a BB split can be good good enough for those purposes if he wants to, or a fake for that matter. Now, here's the question. Does he have any idea he's low? Because a split can get you highlight too. He might suspect that. I think at this point, you have to, you're down 5-1, assume you're low lit, go for it.
I'm going to say the opposite, just because, like, I think yours is right on paper, but emotionally, again, you're down 5-1. Wodar seems to be catching you at any turn, so at this point, you just assume you're highlight. That's how the mind works.
Yeah, it's certainly understandable either way.
85% on the flirt now, minute and 20 left to play.
Oh,
Contact
that's nice.
Done. Man, Amba just handed in that bug on a silver platter, and he took it gladly.
Oh, he can inspect a flirt. I think he's going to wait for that cooldown timer to get that 15%.
I think so, and I like it.
Yeah, it's going to work if he does it right, and if he doesn't have any bad collisions. I don't think Wodar's going to have much reason to bring him back up, except for maybe the second statue visit. Maybe, but probably not.
Probably not. I think this may well be Kikar's game. Wodar doesn't really like bring people back from low light.
Yeah, maybe on balcony or something, but in this scenario, it seems weird. Oh, the ST leaves right as the cooldown expires. That is very bad on gallery.
That's the risk you take, though. So he's going to go into statues here, maybe inspect swap, but he's small model female, so I doubt it. I think he's just going to inspect and see if he can pick up that flirt. That's exactly what he's doing. 30 seconds left on the clock. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
ST's moving.
Oh,
to
boy.
The statues. That's a nice play.
Not bad. I think that might work.
And it does indeed. The seduce comes off as he picks up that statue. Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Now that, I gotta say, now there's no way for him to know this, but if he'd waited, he could have done them both in one swoop. One other thing too, ideally, if you're gonna go to statues twice, you want to go through 2 cycles both times, because the AI usually does, even though you only have 1 inspect. But in that case, I understood he had 30-something seconds left. He really couldn't afford to mess around. The low light clearly gets him the win.
Yeah, it really does. So,
and Wodar showing that he's definitely vulnerable to these right now. If a BB split can do it, you better believe a briefcase can.
Oh yeah. So it was a risky play to be sure, but it paid off.
And Wodar was not zoomed in either. He had the full screen view. So my eyes were on the spy. I was able to see it all. He could have seen it all too if he were looking closely.
He could have. He very well could have. He just didn't.
Yeah.
So Wodar stepping into the spiral here. Kikar has a chance to really start getting something going here on the sniper.
It's a big game. It's a big game.
Yeah, it really is. Let's see how things go. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And Wodar spy style, every now and then, he will just give you one. You know, he'll be very aggressive sometimes. He was not before. We saw him actually relaxing quite a bit with some of those, especially on balcony. So I don't know. He's got a decent lead. We'll see how he plays it.
Does pick up that early flirt, which is quite nice.
Yep, and the cooldown has happened already, so if he wants to get another one in, he can.
Indeed. 3 minutes left to play as he picks up his second flirt, up to 75% here. So
Yeah, this is what I mean. He's being very aggressive.
Because we haven't been talking about missions much, he did actually pull off double agent
Yes.
in favor of having both the swap and Purloin on active.
This is interesting. He tries to do briefcase again, which he's been doing almost every game, but he does not leave quick enough when the other guy beats him to it.
Yeah.
He really did. If someone were being very critical of that briefcase, they would be very suspicious of him right now.
Indeed, they would be. Finishing up his flirt very early on, though, and the green Purloin coming off. I think that's going to be very hard for Kikar to pick up on.
Kikar was not zoomed in. He was kind of slanted to the left. I think he was really looking elsewhere. And it was green near the end of his talk, and then there's another reject after. This could get ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. Here it comes. Here's the Purloin. Heads in the way. Sees it come down, and thinks it was white.
That's it. Oh, that's tough. You know,
Yeah.
I think Wodar was being very aggressive. There were a couple things like the briefcase that really could have bitten him if he'd been watched closer.
Yeah.
But that was a really good green, and well timed as it turned out. And at that point, oof.
Indeed. So Kikar, after the gallery, down 6-2, and that's a
swing.
sizable deficit.
Yeah, that was a big one. He had a nice little bit of momentum going there, and for a little while that was a pretty winnable game, especially if Wodar's decided to be aggressive, because that means he's going to give you chances, but
Yeah.
that worked out too well.
So, still a difficult spot for Kikar. Wodar's feeling quite comfortable, though, as he steps into the sniper role on High Rise here. And this is one where missions are a bit more important to talk about. So Kikar on the spiral here, going for the standard set, but taking out Bug in favor of Swap.
Yeah, usually you get the soft tails, contact, seduce, inspect, and people like to put in fingerprint, and then they'll put in one hard tail, which you have to, and it'll usually be bug for understandable reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, swap in this case, which, not bad. There's a lot of there are quite a few statues to memorize, and the way you swing over, it takes you a little bit of time to get over there and see them all.
Yeah.
It leaves you open to do something else early if you want, for example.
It's very true.
So we'll see.
Let's see how Kikar plays this in 3, 2, 1, play it. Starting things off slow.
Yeah, not taking advantage of the whole swap thing.
Indeed.
And I'm not sure Wodar's memorizing them. He will do this sometimes. He'll just refuse to memorize statues.
That he will.
He'll still say them out loud if you're on TeamSpeak to convince you that he's memorizing them. But I think most of us know that by now.
Well, he made a forum post about it, so I would hope he do.
Well, I feel like everyone knew it before then, but yeah, the cat is definitely out of the bag now. I don't know if the cat was never in the bag. The cat has never been near the bag.
Oh,
Here's the
man.
cat, here's the bag, nowhere near each other. Yeah.
Kikar picking up his 51% flirt fairly early on, and you have a lot of time on this map. 3 minutes and 30 seconds to get 3 missions done.
Yeah, it's a point of contention right now. A lot of people are petitioning Checker to bring it down to 3 minutes, and I can understand that. He might end up tying it to total number of missions active, for example, instead.
Yeah.
But that might not be necessary
Although-
now that people are starting to play 4 of 7
Indeed.
in the ladder.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But for now, you're right. You can absolutely afford. You can't low light for inactivity on this because everyone can be inactive if they want to. Even though most spies don't take advantage of that, in my experience.
In my experience, actually, almost all tend to take a bad shot, apparently, if you're Wodar.
And a low light. Shot a low
Wow.
light, too. Must have just seen a couple things line up, thinks she could have been done. Probably, usually fingerprint is the culprit when that happens, too.
Yeah.
Usually, well, for example, low lit for a briefcase, and then you think, well, wait a second, it's a briefcase, and
Yeah.
fingerprint, and then one of those. He might have thought he'd seen a double talk or something, because it's hard to figure out why there would be a shot there otherwise.
Maybe. So, Kikar picking up a big win on that one as Wodar steps into the spiral. in 3, 2, 1, playing it. But that's again a win that doesn't exactly feel like a win.
Right, yeah, Kikar had maybe 1 or 2 games that he could have won but didn't, but his other wins, probably not feeling very confidence-inspiring. And that matters more for some than others, but it's certainly nice to have.
Look at this! Wodar going bug, swap, purloin, inspect, fingerprint.
It's the kind of thing you can do when you're up several games.
You can,
I don't know if
but
you should,
you also can't.
Oh, Wodar says he shot.
with...
Wodar says he shot in that game because he thought Purloin was on and thought she had purloined.
Okay.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, getting the bug in the briefcase and taking the bullet for it. That's the kind of win Kikar is looking for.
Yeah, and
suddenly...
by the way, not a cakewalk. I mean, that was not the most visible thing in the world.
No,
and,
it wasn't.
It was a good catch, so I think a lot of credit to him. He can feel good about that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice.
Now, he's only down a set with 3 more to go, 2 of which are balcony. Kikar's in a decent spot here.
Yeah, and by the way, I want to add that like when I was newer to this, I kind of understood briefcase had no real purpose back then. I remember thinking, well, the only real purpose of briefcase then was to get close to the ambassador with an excuse, right? So it doesn't look suspicious that you're near them. But then when you get a little better and you realize, you know, the briefcase is actually not a very good opportunity for bugging. It's not, It doesn't actually give you that kind of cover the way you'd hope. So that really doesn't happen very often, using the briefcase as a reason to bug. You don't see that often. So very interesting to see it here, and very impressive that Kikar caught it, because usually you don't look for it because it has not done much.
Indeed. So, onward to the veranda. Kikar starting his comeback in a real way here. Stepping in to the spiral here with Wodar on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Now this is where sniper and spy style, they really come through here, because you have to make a lot of tough decisions about attention management, where to look and where the sniper's looking. I find that differences in sniper and spy style become very pronounced here compared to others.
Indeed. I completely agree.
And Wodar in particular, you know, he could play this map so many different ways, and you gotta try to figure out which it's gonna be. For example, right there, low lighting brown dress just for kind of hanging out in the early going.
Yeah. Kikar picking up the early flirt.
General gets highlight for I think he just expected him to be flirting there. It looked like he'd left with blue dress, maybe followed her to get a second flirt in. Although with the cooler time down, that actually wouldn't make sense here. But in the old setup, it would have. And I still catch myself thinking that sometimes too.
Kikar stepping in a statues fairly early on for his first pair of inspects. I don't think he's going to pull a highlight for this.
No, and that's the randomness you have to contend with. You know, he got a highlight for a statue earlier against Wodar, and this time he doesn't.
Yep.
Even though arguably it makes as much or more sense on this map than it did in Gallery.
BB comes off very nicely. Lots of people inside the conversation.
Yeah.
Although, look at all these lowlights Wodar's getting. Most of these are behavioral, not necessarily hard lowlights.
Yeah, by my count, 4 total lowlights, 2 of them hard, 2 of them assuming it wasn't a fake over there, and actually brought one guy back up from a lowlight because he thought he might have split. So, pretty average haul when you come down to it. About 3.5.
Yeah. Kikar picking up a highlight for the window flirt, interestingly enough.
That's the vagaries, you know, you'll get highlight and lowlit for pretty strange things sometimes.
Indeed.
There have been lots of other possible window flirts. Those one didn't do it. This one did. There you go. And Wodar makes an interesting decision on blue, significant because he only had 3 highlights and he was one of them. 4 rather.
Kikar finishing up his inspects now.
The question is, does Wodar realize that he's been there twice?
I don't think he does.
Although he highlighted him, he might not remember why. You know, and a lot of people do it. You know, if they see a lot of people, if they see a highlight go to statues, assume, oh, I must have highlighted them the first time for statues. Therefore, that's why they're highlight.
That was a very clean bug coming out of Kikar there. Practically invisible.
I was watching it from the sniper side. That was really good. He was highlit and surrounded by low-lit people, and it still wasn't that visible. And that is,
I know.
That is a really hard way to hide a bug. When they're all low-lit and you're this big glowing thing walking past them, he had no cover in that sense, really. He was behind them, but boy, that arm sticks out. If it had been anything less than perfect, it would have been very obvious.
Absolutely brilliant play. Finishes up the flirt with another one at the window.
And now he needs
one
more
hard tell to go. It's going to
Yep.
be either transfer, swap, or microfilm. How do we play this? Looks like he wants Toby.
But you know what? Look at the position he's in. Even playing a really good game, because he's not making him pay much for lowlights, look what's happened. He's one of 4 people and one of 3 highlights, so he can just hang back and watch all his suspects. Oh, and there's another lowlight. Because he can be so aggressive and there's no downside to it right now, even though he's played so well, he's one of just a few people being watched here.
Yeah.
Really
and
rough.
Another big lowlight. It's down to 2.
Yeah, correctly. Now, there's definitely an element of randomness to this. He could easily have been snaps, you know, and so some of it's just bad luck in that sense. That, but at the same time, Wodar's got it down to 2 people, and that only happens because you're not making him pay for the lowlights. You're not giving him a downside.
Indeed.
Oh, he's watching this statue close.
This? It doesn't look like we can. There's the swap. It was right there.
Yeah.
And there's the shot finally coming off.
He did it right at 10 seconds because he really didn't want it to go into overtime, I think is what happened. That's a shame. You know, it's pretty obvious what happened there. Wodar did not really actually catch the things he was doing, for the most part. That's not what won him the game. What won him the game is that he was very aggressive with the lowlights, and Kikar did not give him any penalty for that. So that even though Kikar played, frankly, a very good game, because he didn't do any sort of briefcase or any sort of interesting pathing like that, by the end, it's just 2 people. And once it's down to 2 people, you can just sit back and wait to see what they do next.
Yeah. Wodar is one of those players where you can shut him down, but you have to know how to shut him down. And if you don't shut him down, these are the games that happen.
Yeah, some of those, you really just have to say, okay, every now and then, I've got to do something like this. I've got to do a briefcase half the games. I've got to lay low a little bit, and he's going to lowlight me. And when he does, he's either going to keep doing it, in which case I'm going to get a few free wins, or he's going to have to back off on the lowlights, in which case he's going to have a lot more to manage. And I'm going to win a game like that on Veranda. That game is totally based on the lowlights.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Kikar just, it's a real shame to see a game like that kind of put to waste because he's not playing the broader strategy.
Yeah. If against any other sniper, I'd say Kikar wins that game.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Wodar's just one of those players where if you really let him play the game he wants to play, man, you are in for a tough time.
Yeah.
But Wodar has a chance to bring it to match point here as he steps into the veranda on the spy. Let's see what Kikar can do about this one. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
This will be interesting. I look forward to seeing how Wodar plays this one. Oh, no boy. Not seen, but that was definitely a little rough there in the beginning.
Although, that was Time of Chaos rough, so definitely not as bad as it could have been. The accidental time ad, it goes into another time ad.
He's just saying, you know what? Just own it. Just own it.
Yeah.
Just all the time ads. Boy, well, okay. I would hope he would lay a little bit low now.
I'd hope so. Didn't get caught out on it, but...
Yeah, you know, I can understand that a little bit. There are a lot of time ads on Veranda, but they're usually not at the beginning. It's not. You see early time ads on Courtyard a lot, or Panop a lot in particular, but you don't see a lot on Veranda. You see Veranda around the middle or near the end, because people have trouble with time management. So, but it is definitely a little tricky to miss 2 time ads, both a white and a green, which both give you a different way of detecting them eventually.
Yeah. But as soon as that beep comes off, now Kikar knows there's been a time ad.
Yeah, I would hope at this point you glance up and say, I don't think they're supposed to be quite this much.
Well, the thing is, with that beep, you can tell it's a different beep than when the timer's moving at normal speed.
Yeah, it sounds a little different. I've actually taken mistaken shots for that because the slower beep has made me think that there was a white time ad right then, for example, because it sounded like 2 beeps simultaneously. I've lost a few games that way, I don't mind telling you. So Wodar, I mean, to his credit, is using that time. He's laying low because he's got an extra minute and a half. He can afford to.
Absolutely.
He has the equivalent right now, as you can see, of the game going for just 20 seconds. And granted, he's only gotten 1 flirt done in those 20 seconds, but on the other hand, he's probably made Kikar a little on edge.
Indeed.
But at some point, you know, I do think, you know, at this point, there's no more actual time advantage. He's used it up. he's used it up to try to earn, I think, less suspicion, and maybe that'll work. But at this point now, it's like a normal game. He's 40 seconds in, he's got a flirt.
It's not really about lower suspicion, though. What it's really about is letting the sniper build up suspects that aren't you.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Although at the same time, it really depends on who you're playing. Against a lot of snipers, it works the other way. You know, over time they get more lowlights. So it depends on who you're playing for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, against certain snipers, it's like a race against the clock to finish missions before they get a lot of pathing lowlights against someone like Drawn or R7.
Going for the cheese transfer. Not going right to the other bookcase, though.
I think he saw the laser and thought, you know what? I've still got plenty of time. I don't think I got away with it completely clean. He mostly did. It was visible, but I don't think he saw it.
Yeah. I'd be willing to agree with that.
But there was a flirt there anyway. Yeah, so I like the decision to just go.
Oh, and the shot does come out! I didn't think he saw that!
Wow, he played it cool with that. He played it really cool with that.
Wow.
I didn't think he saw it either. You know, it's interesting. The eyes don't always go where the laser does. He did a really good job, I think, of faking that out a little bit, if that's what he was doing. And he was very patient. Now, on the other hand, everything else is going on in the party, and he's just sitting there waiting to see which bookcase he puts it back on.
Yeah.
But he took that chance, kind of sold out on that a little bit, and it worked really well.
What a play from Kikar. That was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And now, even though he's had a rough go of things, but he's only down one set going into the final games, which are all 4 on balcony.
Yeah. He's definitely held his own, and it's easy to imagine. Obviously, you just switch 1 or 2 of these games, and it's a different story. Some of the losses again have been very ugly. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But
from both sides.
Yeah, but he's definitely settled down a lot.
Yeah.
Not the way we talked about though. Not by punishing him for the lowlights. He did get a win from the lowlight, but it was from something pretty pedestrian, a banana split. Boy, it's easy to imagine if he'd just done briefcase occasionally, I think he'd be ahead right now.
Yeah, I think so. Especially considering that veranda game.
Yeah, absolutely. Wodar suggesting, I don't know if this is for a fact or just a guess, but he thinks that he was a suspect because of those time ads, just not marked forward accordingly. Certainly would make sense and would explain why he tunneled on him later for the book.
Indeed.
If that's the case.
Man, what a game from Kikar.
It's a big win. Big win.
He's got a big chance here stepping in the balcony. Let's see if he can make it work as he steps into the spiral in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Takes control and he's right next to the ST.
That he is.
And the end of red.
But does not flirt.
It's gonna be a white banana bread, ladies and gentlemen.
And a white banana bread.
Do you talk again? I don't think you do.
Oh boy, I don't know. White banana bread, and only 2 highlights go off for it, and one of them was just for a possible split. He's a huge suspect already.
Indeed. There's the first flirt coming off. It is 34% on the white test.
Well, he's a huge suspect, but if maybe he can lay low for a little bit, he's still got a lot of time, and that's a good first flirt.
That it is.
He could use a little help from his ST, though.
Absolutely.
That would go a long way right now. It looks like he's just going to try to wait it out with the flirt with the timer. He definitely has time for one of those.
Yeah. About just the 1 minute left to play at this point.
Yeah. He won't be able to do it twice, that's for sure. So he's going to have to leave after another flirt to have a chance.
There's the flirtation cooldown. There's the flirt. It's 45 seconds left on the clock. Right as the seduction starting steps. Whoa, my goodness, that shot!
I think we can figure this one out. He sees the white BB. The white BB makes him a huge suspect.
Yeah.
He sees a talk next to plaid dress after that. He sees another talk right next to plaid dress about 40 seconds later. So he's thinking, you know what? If those are greens, this game is over.
Yeah.
And even though they weren't greens, his instinct in that case was correct. It was his ST. That was him. He was trying to timer flirt, and if he'd greened them, it would have been over. So it's tough to take that shot just because someone could be done, because it's very hard for them to green like that. You can't. It's hard to assume that they're going to green them all, but it is the correct shot and very understandable. And the BB obviously a big part of it.
Man, what a play from Wodar there. That's a very difficult shot to take, even if you do notice all of that. So.
Yeah, it's really hard to assume that they're done just because they could be, but
Indeed.
The white BB makes it a lot easier, and certainly a good shot.
Indeed. So, 3 match points for Wodar.
Mm.
It's overcomable, especially on balcony. It's overcomable, but it's gonna be a tall order.
Overcomable. I like that. Yeah.
Kikar starting things off on the sniper. See if he can get a start here in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Maybe comebackable, too. This is a comebackable situation. Oh no, this is the worst. When you get a highlight for a window flirt that was not actually even taking place.
Yeah,
That's a bummer.
brutal.
That's
and
rough.
you wind up right next to the guy in
And the end of red.
conversation.
And then you white BB.
Oh
boy.
my! Oh God!
Oh, and it lined
this
it up
is-
so nicely too.
This is a rough start from Wodar, and he might not even notice what's going on with Mr. Buckswoggle there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Boy, that is rough. You know, the BB can happen at different points. Certain times it's more obvious than others. Most people, after a while, get a good little timer in their head for a certain point in the animation that is the most common for the white BB.
Yeah.
And that was it. And sometimes it lines up so well that it's almost, boy, if you're watching it closely for that, it can be just a big old sign around your neck.
Yeah, it's like right as the hands are up and the head does that little backward nod.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
the
yeah.
BB comes off right there,
Yeah.
God, you want to shoot.
That's like a super white. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That is like, okay, that if you're thinking if that's a green, they would have to time it
Yeah.
intentionally or otherwise, maybe by accident, but then there would be a coincidence. They'd have to time it perfectly with that
Yeah.
person's stock animation. Really hard to get away from that one.
That is the whitest of white tests. And
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how to make a joke out of that, but I couldn't come up with one.
Boy, not a whole
Not
lot
a
happening
single flirt done yet either. Water's gonna have to bank it on a bug or a wrong shot.
Or his favorite thing in the world, the red flirt.
That's true. He might try to frame, and he does do that red flirt to see if he can get it done, but Snaps McGee just not really a suspect. Oh no, that bad bounce though.
Running out of time. He has no flirts in. This is not going to happen. He's going to have to crash bug.
Ah, there's the arm. Hello.
Or wave bug, I guess. Yeah.
I feel like he was banking on the ambassador coming around into him, which is a reasonable thing to assume that's going to happen. He waited until the timer went down, and
Yeah.
as soon as the Amba started moving, that arm went out. But the Amba did not take the path he thought was going to happen.
Yeah,
And
it
there's
didn't
a
matter.
shot.
He was already a huge suspect,
Yeah.
and there was no bug. No matter how good the bug was, even if it were a possible bug that he hid well, he would have gotten shot. So that,
Absolutely.
yeah, that was that was pretty rough. That one, I got to give Kikar credit though. You know, he kept it together.
Yeah, I know, Manadders. I know I'm dropping an insane amount of frames. I'm actually going to start moving the shows an hour earlier until 8 o'clock Eastern instead of 9 to hopefully try to mitigate the frame loss because this has been going on for a while and it's getting a little bit ridiculous. So we're going to see if that works out. And if not, I may even move it an hour earlier than that. But
We'll try it. Whatever we need to do to make it work. Absolutely.
indeed. So, for the time being, Kikar's got it down to 2 match points as he steps
boy.
into Spiral once more. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Put himself in a really good position though, given how bad it was before, down 5-0. So you know, really nice job already.
Absolutely.
I think he's left a lot of quite a few games on the table, unfortunately, with the larger strategy, with the low lighting. But very impressive that despite that, he's been able to come back.
Going for the fingerprint this time
Banana
around,
bread.
Kikar is. Picks up the banana bread off of that. And this is one way to make sure Wodar doesn't get any briefcase lowlights.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, you know, to keep fingerprint on. Gets 2 lowlights based on that, though. That's rough. One of them just for taking a drink during the BB from Buckswaggle.
Yeah.
So he's got 4 people left. They are all highlight, which means, you know, none of them are, really.
Yeah, Kikar is one of them. And
Yes.
the briefcase is right there. He's gonna go for
Oh.
it. He still has that drink he fingerprinted with.
Nice.
There's the fingerprint coming off. Countdown is underway. That was a nice briefcase.
Yeah, really solid. That's good. I think he's going to hang on to this one. And let me say, it's
Yeah.
particularly tough when one of the fingerprints is from a drink. That's a lot
Yeah.
harder to keep track of. A lot of people do not even bother. They'll pay attention specifically to the briefcase above all, but not a whole lot else.
Indeed.
If you can sneak in one of those, it's like sneaking in a window flirt. It gives you like a leg up and maybe a free one.
Yeah. Oh my, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we might be seeing some overtime here.
No, not again. I can't take it, Tobo.
Kikar on the sniper, fighting for his life, fighting for an overtime in this game as Wodar sees if he can pick up the win in 3, 2, 1, play it.
Cash should come with a defibrillator.
And look at that positioning from Wodar to get the flirt off. He
Oh, yeah.
immediately starts right next to him and picks up the 51% for it. Does get the highlight for the early talk.
Yeah. But that's a really tenuous highlight. And the
It is.
second talk.
Oh, but the white test on the banana bread coming off.
Oh boy. All three first talkers though get it at some point, and then one gets bumped back down. So it's a very mild highlight. I'm not sure he really got a good sense of who was in and out and who was talking there though. He was kind of zoomed in, and I don't see any lowlights other than orange here. I'm not sure he took advantage of that. I don't think that was a particularly damaging white because he was kind of moving around and wasn't sure what was going on.
I don't think it was. Yeah, there was one person just finishing a talk. It was Bondo. It was too late for the BB to go off for him, but he did not get low light for it.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Timer.
There it is. That double green test.
It's going to be hard to shoot here. We've talked about this before. That's always a tough shot. He's got to take it though.
Does not take that shot. That is almost impossible to grab that
Yeah,
one.
a couple things here. I mean, for one thing, he's certainly good to hit both greens. Bondo, very accommodating in the early going. And by the way, accommodating and not leaving once he decided. Because you can decide to do your timer flirt, but guess what? Your seduction target has a say in it. They can say, no, you're not doing that, and they can leave. And at the same time, though, I think if he catches that white a little better and sees how well it lines up with the talk animation, maybe he becomes a little more suspicious of blue, notes who she's next, and then when he sees the next talk, he deduces, hey, if this is a double green, maybe I take that shot.
Keep in mind, though, Powder Blue had that exact same timing that was so bad for that white.
Right, yeah.
That white banana bread. So he was another one that would have been really suspicious on it.
I don't think he was going to win that either way, but his best hope was definitely tunneling on blue from the beginning, which did not happen because he didn't get a look at it. So that was his only chance, and I think he lost it there.
Yep. The balcony giveth, the balcony taketh away. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks a ton for coming out to watch. A little bit of housekeeping before we go. And this one's actually important.
Oh, I lost my bet. I lost my bet. I was betting on my head whether or not you were going to say housekeeping or bookkeeping. And I was thinking maybe it'll be bookkeeping tonight, but no, it's housekeeping. Crap.
Always,
okay. Sorry, please continue.
Okay. So, this one's actually important. We are moving the show from 9 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific. In order to mitigate... My shirt is great. Thank you very much. In order to try to mitigate the frames dropped. We dropped literally 25% of the frames this cast.
Ooh, so, that's not good. That's not
good. Exactly.
So we're going to try some stuff.
Yep. We're... Desperate times call for desperate measures. We're moving the show. Hopefully, less frames will be dropped. I have a game with Checker this week on the ladder. I don't know when yet, but I will keep you guys updated on Twitter @ToboTV. And if you're in the beta already, you can check on the forums. We'll be posting that whenever we get that figured out.
You gotta
Friday.
Gotta trash talk him if you win. Because his name is Checker, if you beat him, you gotta be like, "King me, bitch," or something like that. Please promise me you'll do something like that.
No promises.
No promises. Yeah, I don't want kicked out.
Yeah. Oh man. Friday. We haven't worked it out, the specifics yet, so it might not happen. But there's a good chance me and Royal Flush will be casting some of the Summer Cup matches that have happened so far.
Awesome.
Which should be a lot of fun.
Yes. Summer Cup matches, always good fun. Second annual. We're starting to get a lot of...
Second annual Spy Party Summer Cup.
That's how long the beta's been open, is we have annual events now.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm not planning on taking Checker lightly. That's a difficult sentence to say.
I would not.
He's actually getting really good at this game now that he's playing more.
He is. He is. I think you got a slight edge though. I think this could be good, but I wouldn't want to bet. I wouldn't want to bet on either, just in case.
Yeah.
So I think it should be an exceptionally good match. I think you guys are really evenly matched for the most part, and I can't wait to see it.
Don't take shots early. Watch my purloins.
Yes, watch your purloins. Don't take shots early. Absolutely. Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
All right. So yeah, Friday, 8:00 p.m. Eastern, 5:00 p.m. Pacific. Might be casting some ladder games with Royal Flush, and then on Sunday, still at 9 p.m. because this one is Kaylee streaming on Twitch.tv/SpyParty. We cast the ladder sets from the week, so that's definitely going to be a fun one. Other than that, I think that's about all we've got. So thanks a ton for Warning Track coming out to cast with me once again.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Thanks a ton as well for everyone who came out to watch. I really appreciate you all. And until next time, this is Toboshi and Warning Track, signing off.